right. Welcome, ladies. It's the Women's Training Run Group Little Club. We have our mini club here to talk about what it's like being in training and being at the halfway point to the TCS Toronto Waterfront Marathon. So we're going to start with some introductions. I'm Kirsten. I'm the host of the Run Canada podcast. I will be your co-host for this, as well as the episode we're going to share on the stage live on the Saturday before the race with Heather Gardner. Heather, tell us who you are.
Sure. Thanks. My name is Heather Gardner. This is my third year supporting the women's training plan. It kind of came about because I just was learning about how few women coming out of the pandemic were running the marathon distance, and thought, there has to be something that we can do about it. And in addition to a few other things, this opportunity with Canada Running Series to try and inspire and encourage more women to run came through. So I am Toronto based. I own a fitness studio called Kardia, and we actually started as one of Toronto's inaugural run clubs way back in 2013. So we've been running a long time. I'm a 15-time marathoner. I will be doing my first post-pandemic marathon. So it's been a while. She's coming back. So I'm excited to be running that distance, but then also supporting the panel.
I love it. I think, ladies, you should think of Heather as your marathon Sherpa, your marathon guide through the wilderness of this new distance. Anjali, I'm going to let you go ahead.
All right, thank you. I'm Anjali. I'm running my first marathon this time, a full first marathon. I work as an MLOps specialist at a insurance company, and my job is mostly, working at my desk. I work from home most of the times, so running has brought like a good balance to my life. And I've done a 10K before. I've done a couple half marathons before. I'm super excited to run my full this year. Yeah.
I'm so excited. I get so excited when people say they're running their first full. It makes me so happy. Okay, Gabby, you're up.
Guys, I am the novice here. I'm gonna be very honest with you. This is my first race ever. I've run 5Ks like without being in a race officially, just by myself. I've run 10Ks, but I was feeling very stuck beginning of this year, to be very honest. I was not exercising a lot. So I needed something to motivate me. So me and a few coworkers of mine, we work with soccer, so we were very inspired, I think, by this year. So we decided, let's just run. I'm running the half, I'm not running the full. I was like, I'm not gonna start with a full, I'm gonna go with a half. I'm very excited and very excited to learn from all of your experiences too.
Yay! I get so excited when people say they're running their first race too. I love it. Okay, so Gabby did share a little bit about why she decided to join the women's group, or why she decided to run. Anjali, maybe I'll ask you to share a little bit about why the women's training group. Why did you want to pair your first race or your first marathon experience with that?
So I think just knowing that, you have a community that you can rely on, like others doing the same thing as you, it's a big motivation for you as well, right? Like it's like that you're not the only person waking up in the morning and going on a long run, right? And I think, just finding that support, and like even the structured plan, I'm trying to follow the intermediate full marathon structured plan to the T. It hasn't gone so well, but like I'm trying to follow it. So, all of those have been like great just in terms of supporting me to, towards my goal, right? So that was my main reason I decided to join a group this time. Yeah.
I love it. Gabby, how about you? Why specifically the women's training group?
I'm running with two men from my from my work. And they're great. I love them. They are amazing. They're very supportive. But I'm not them, like we don't connect in the same way that I connect with my coworkers. But my coworkers that are female, they're not running with me. So I guess very similar to I think everyone here, I just wanted this connection and I wanted to not compare myself, but actually like I think see myself in someone else that has the same like playing field as I do. I think that was it. And also I honestly only get inspired by women. Men don't inspire me so much. So I needed to see other women doing a great job. So I know, I don't know, I just feel more connected that way.
Yeah, that was amazing. I speaking as someone who's also trained for many races with two men, I feel you. I totally get that. Heather, why do you think this is such a unique opportunity? Why do you think this is so exciting?
Well, I think both of the examples that were just given are exactly where the idea of this plan came from. So being able to support women in chasing their goals and these dreams that they have, helping to get there. But as Gabby said, there are many topics that are very specific to just women, which go beyond the menstrual cycle to look at how we might try to find balance in our life and how we can, whether it's balance of the workplace, balance with friends, balance with family, we're all trying to find that balance of something. And talking about sports bras, like there's so many things that you want tips on what kind of underwear aren't going to chafe you. And, as Gabby said, probably, I'm assuming the men you run with can't give you tips on sports bras or menstruation or women's underwear. So, those are the sort of things that this group creates a space for, but it also exists virtually. So being able to support women from, I'm going to say across the country, to be able to still have that connection, have that support of Coach Becky, and those who are more local able to meet up. There was just a meetup yesterday at Hidden Track. So being able to have that in person, but virtual connection and community truly is what this program is all about.
That was so well said, my girl. Thank you for that. Okay, so let's talk about goals. I mean, obviously, ladies, your goals are to finish. But did you either of you come in with other goals or other things that you were hoping to accomplish through this process? Gabby, I'll start with you. You're underneath me.
Perfect. Actually, it's a funny thing because I live right at Young. And my gym, it's a long short story, I promise. My gym has a panoramic window, and then at the beginning of this year, when the Toronto Marathon was happening, I was in the treadmill, just like walking, and I saw everyone running, and that gave me like honestly chills. I left my gym at the day. I went to like Teams. I sat on a little curb and I just watched people run by me. And one of the signs that one of this girl had was, "You can do difficult things." And it was at the time of my life that I didn't really believe I could do difficult things, like you have those things. So I'm like, oh, I can do difficult things too. This is very difficult. I am not like I was not a very big fan of running, to be very honest. Now I'm starting to like. So I was like, this is a very difficult thing for me. I will do it. So I think my goal is low key to prove myself that I can do difficult things.
Oh my gosh, that gave me
Are you crying,
full
Kirsten?
goosebumps. Yeah, it's starting already, Heather. Yeah, that fully gave me goosebumps. Oh, such a good story. Okay, Anjali, how about you?
I think the core reason is similar to Gabby's. I'm gonna turn 30 on the 27th of this October this year. So my goal is to do a 42K before I turn 30. And it's again to prove to myself that I can do difficult things, whatever I can do, whatever that I commit to, right? So that was my main reason to do a full this year. And outside of it, I think just running in general, right? I feel like um, I would want everyone that I love to also run because I think it has brought a lot of structure, discipline in my life. And I think that's something that I would love to share with people. Right. So my roommate, my best friend, I live with her. So yeah, she has gotten into running because of me. So I felt very proud that I inspired her to, get into start running. And I've told my friends to run a 5K on my birthday. So we're gonna do like a birthday run. But yeah, I think in general, I feel like I want running to be part of my life. Not just this one time that I've complete this goal, but like, for years to come as well. And yeah, I just love running.
Well, you're about to inspire a whole lot more than just your little friends and family. Everybody in the training group is going to see you and on the stage. So you're about to take it wide. Okay, so there was my dog. So okay, I'm also training for a 50K right now. Heather, you're training for a marathon as well. Let's start with what is going well. So who wants to go first? What is going well at this halfway point you're at right now?
I
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can go. So yeah, I think my endurance is definitely something that I've seen going well. I've been building up, like 10K runs don't feel as hard anymore. It's okay to run like a 15K comfortably and so on. So I think that's going well. Yeah. I can hold off until I talk about the challenges, but yeah.
No, that's great. That's a great start. I would also agree with that. I feel like the endurance piece is huge for me so far, right? Like I'm feeling very strong. We're running like half marathons on the weekend just for training runs, which feels wild. Gabby, do you want to go?
Yeah, I think for me, my biggest challenge was breathing. I'm asthmatic, so now I feel that that's getting way better. I am now able to control my respiration and not get so like before, I'm not even that tired, but I would be like struggling to catch breath. And I think now I've learned how to do this. Endurance is happening, but the asthma doesn't help. So those things are evolving together. And less knee pain. So I'm almost not feeling pain, which is very good.
That's amazing. Okay, Heather, how about you?
Well, I'm at the very, very, very beginning. So for me, very beginning is getting into the habits. So a couple of weeks ago, I did the Seaweeds half in Vancouver, and I had come off of an injury. And it's just all about making sure to create the space in my schedule and the habits and routines, kind of like what Anjali had said. Whereas once things start to ramp up, I've already got the schedule and routine in place that I'm not trying to create space or move things around in my life to try and fit running in. The multiple weekly runs are already built in through the structure of my life. And so I'm kind of at that point still where I'm trying to lock in that. And then the strength training. So making sure that I'm, as part of those habits, is getting my strength training in, which, kind of Gabby just talked about an injury. So making sure as I get closer and closer to the 5-0, that it's, I'm doing those things that my body needs, as well as recovery too. So making sure that, it's when I first started training marathons, I could do a long run and then, pull an all-nighter, and I felt great the next day. Not so much, not the case anymore. And so it's just making sure that I'm creating those habits, doing the strength training, taking the time for recovery. And right now I'm just at the beginning where I'm trying to find all those pieces and make sure that I've got everything set up for success once things start to build.
Totally. Yeah. And Heather, your comment about the recovery time, I will cite as my challenge. I haven't run a marathon distance. I'm running a little longer than that, but I haven't run a marathon distance since 2022. I'm a little bit older. I've had a surgery since then, and so I am tired, girls. I am tired. I don't know
Yeah,
about you
my
guys.
last one was 20. It was New York City the November before the pandemic. So November 2019 was my marathon number 15. And yeah, time, it's not just the time, it's also, everything else that comes with aging, and still being able to do these things that we love takes more than just doing what you love. Now you've got to make sure that you do everything else to be able to do what you love.
Totally. Okay.
Yeah.
Anjali, how about you? What is your challenge right now?
Right. So, it has been challenging to, balance everything with my running, everything else that I like, right? So I love dancing as well, and I have a full-time job and all of that. So like studying, even like, upskilling and all of that, dancing and then running. So it becomes hard to always find the time to do your long runs. You skip a few, and then you suddenly feel like discouraged and disappointed in yourself and so on. But I think the key is to keep going regardless. Like, you have to stop being so hard on yourself and just keep being consistent, right? With whatever you can do, right? So I think, yeah, that's what I'm working towards now. Yeah.
Yeah, I think remembering not to be too hard on yourself is a super important lesson that you only learn through those challenges. How about you, Gabby?
Honestly, for me, it's been the learning curve because, like, okay, you can just put your shoes and go out running, right? But that's not really how it works, actually. And I've been trying to educate myself in all the sort of stretching that I have to do, what type of runs I should be working on for my endurance, for what is my long distance. Like, I'm gonna be honest, it's really unrealistic for me right now to just tomorrow wake up and run a 15K. It's not gonna happen because it's not a habit that I have. So I think it's learning and also understanding what is the boundary and my limits, because sometimes if you don't push too hard, the little voice in your head is being like, oh, you're not doing enough, so you're gonna fail. But then you need to be like, whoa, 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 no, be quiet and remind yourself like what you have done. I am not a creature of habit. I am a mess. I love my schedule to be a mess. I love to be in office today and not be in office tomorrow. So what Heather said is actually so true. Like flipping my brain to, oh, is not I need to fit this run on my schedule, is I need to fit my schedule in my runs. That has been a very big challenge because what if I'm tired? What if I just had my period? What if it's my birthday this weekend? So I'm like, I want to run because I'm so excited, but am I going to run Sunday? Do you know what I mean? Like, so I think just understanding all of that and still being kind to myself and understand that sometimes I'm not going to do what I should do. That's what is being very challenging. And also understanding gels, because everyone say that I need to try gels before running so I don't have problems. And I am even afraid to try it now, to be honest. So never run with a gel. So that's
Well,
that.
Heather, what's your advice with the nutrition?
Well, you definitely want to start practicing as soon as possible. So there's all sorts of different types of gels that you can get. So now is the time to be experimenting with those sort of things. They don't have to be gels. So you can get gummy, different like electrolyte gummies. You can get different bars. Also, I'm sure you've seen it online because was all over my free page. Also, people fueling with nerd clusters, right? Like there's so many different things, or dates, like actual real fruit. So there's so many different things that you can fuel with. And I was at the dentist for my Invisalign at the beginning of the week, and he said, are you starting to train again? Because of the gels, he could tell. And you take the gel, you take the water, but the length of your run, the sticky gummy stays on your teeth. And for the entire time I've been running marathons, my dentist has always been saying, don't use gels, always have water, take your Gatorade or whatever you're feeling with, and then wash out your mouth, because otherwise it stays on your teeth. And I'm sure people who are watching, if you are a dentist, you're probably shaking your head and agreeing. So, not using gels, using other things that maybe are great for your body, but also better for your teeth. But practice is the only way that you're going to figure out what flavors you like, what textures you like. They're all so different. So, if you can, even do this like a fun little thing with the two guys that you're training with. If you each like bring a different, you could do like a little taste test on your next long run. Okay, everybody's going to bring something that they like, and then you're going to test it out. Typically, every 30 to 45 minutes, depending on how long your run is, how you're feeling, you should be fueling with something. So this is, absolutely something that you need to do. And thinking, well, I haven't been doing it yet, I'm sure I'll be okay. Research, science, it tells us that we need to be doing this. So start practicing whatever it is right now. Lots of great, independent stores where you can buy them, as well as other places too. So yeah, look around, talk to the other people, see what they like, give it a try, or do your own thing.
Yeah, I will say two things. My running partner Michelle and I have been running with Pop-Tarts. We put Pop-Tarts in our vest, and then they warm up on your back, and then you have a nice warm Pop-Tart. So that's what's happening.
Wow.
Also, I just got off a podcast interview with Kirsten Parker, who makes chocolate. It's Seven Summit, their chocolate. So it like the chocolate melts in the little package, and then you take it, like you sip it while you run.
Oh my goodness. That
I
sounds
love
divine. Luxurious.
Yep. Like that is the word, luxurious. Oh, that's such a good word. Okay.
Yeah.
So we've talked challenges. We've talked what's going well. With all this information you have so far, what are you planning to tweak as you move into this long mileage, as we move into like the heaviest part of this training? Anjali, do you want to go first?
Yeah, so I think as Heather said, training and practicing with the gels is very important. I have only taken a gel. So I've run my halves without any gels. I just use water and electrolytes. But for the full, I've been told that I do need gels. So I'm seeing that Heather agrees. So, okay. So yeah, that's something that I'd want to incorporate in my long runs now. I've taken one gel before and I felt a little weird. I'm not sure if it was purely because of my body or because of the stories I've heard other runners of other runners. But yeah, like I it wasn't that bad. But yeah, I do want to train more with gels or experiment with gummies and so on to see what I like. And definitely strength training is something that I've been doing, but I think I need to be more consistent with that and add some more of speed workouts as well, speed training. But yeah.
Good for you. Yeah, that's all very relatable.
Yeah, especially that whole tummy trouble thing. And that's why you want to try it ahead of time and as soon as possible, because there are absolutely gels brands that I will not take because I know as quickly as they go in, they go out. So,
Mhm.
and you want to avoid that, especially on race day. So these are all the reasons, like that weird feeling, there's going to be something else that isn't going to give you that feeling. So you just want to figure out what that is.
100%. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite, Heather?
Well, I like to fuel with things that are like as natural, real to nature as possible. So one of the things that I have been fueling with, I just love, there's so many different kinds of this right now, but gels that are essentially maple syrup. So it's the one that I have been having recently that I was using for my seaweeds training was with Chronos. And so they have one, which is really, it's just maple syrup. I think probably maple syrup, salt, and ginger. And that's it. So it truly is, you're taking this, it's maple syrup. It's purely maple syrup. So that's one that I love. Morton is also another one that when I've done a lot of my Ironman training and past marathons, fueled with that also. So those are two that I enjoy. But there's also various price points. There's also various flavors, things that I like. There's so many different flavors. So just being able to pick what is accessible to you wherever you are, and then within a price point and a flavor that you like. And typically I find these days most companies, because we're so educated as clients, as consumers, that they are scientifically what they need to be. So they can't really get away with these days just putting something out there that doesn't match the science of carbs to time spent running. So almost anything that you're going to buy now almost is going to be set up for that scientific research proven ratio. So I think you're pretty good as long as you can, accessibility, like where you can get it, what the cost is, and then the different flavor and texture that you like.
Yeah. Yeah. I think something that you said there that is really important, Heather, that like I want everybody who's listening to hear is is accessibility, meaning like don't get something that you only found in the States one time and now you can't get it and can't, right? Like you'll have done all this training and then it'll come to race time and then you won't be able to access it. So make sure that it's something that's readily accessible for you for sure. I really like Scratch. Scratch is really easy on my stomach. So I definitely know a number of other people who have IBS that find that one's particularly easy on the stomach. So how about you, Gabby? What else are you tweaking moving forward?
I think for me, it's three things. So first one, what you all said, like trying to get used and maybe introducing gel right now. So this is definitely within the next week happening. I need to get better on my head because I have a very loud voice that talk me down when I am getting tired. So, but I also know that sometimes I can talk louder than that voice and just keep going. So I just need to balance that very well and I'm very lucky to have friends and coworkers that are helping me with this because they're also helping me create this I think it's a toolbox to keep myself going. So trying to find the nice voice, trying to remember why I'm doing this. I have no care about my pace. I have no care about if I'm more walking than running, to be honest. I think I need to remember what is my overall goal. And it's very clear for me that it's just I want to finish and I want to have fun. If it's not fun, it doesn't make sense too. So just working with those voices. And then the other thing is a silly little thing. I need to decide what shoes I'm gonna wear because I have two shoes and one is better, but the other one doesn't hurt my feet that much. So those balance, and I'm definitely gonna work more on my speed. Not because I wanna run fast, but because it just, I don't know, I have more fun when I'm running fast. So I wanna be able to run fast for longer. Yeah, those are the things.
Well, that's great. I'm going to let Heather speak to the shoes. I'm going to let your Sherpa talk about shoes. But I will say the one thing that like I've seen on social that I'm sure has come up on everybody's feed now is giving your bad voice a man's name. So you can be like, shut up, Ted. You don't know what you're talking about, right? So maybe that's something that'll work for you.
I will do that.
Give your voice a man's name and then, tell it what you think.
Yeah.
I like this.
That's so funny. Yeah, I have seen that. That has definitely come up on my free page too. Shoes, my favorite topic. I love shoes. I have way too many pairs of shoes. So the fact that you have two pairs, I'm like, oh, only two, but don't let this. Two is fantastic. Two is wonderful. Two is the normal. I follow this gal on TikTok, and it's all about de-influencing. So let me de-influence you. You do not need more than two pairs of shoes. So just trying to figure out which shoes, shoes do have a purpose. So the technology of your long run shoe is going to be different than the technology of your flat, fast speed shoe. So just make sure that you are using the shoe for the intention. I like to call it the shoe melt. So eventually, once we've been using our shoes for too long, they kind of lose that great shape that they have once they're new and they start to kind of melt and sink down. So we want to make sure that the shoes that you're using are still in great condition. And then you're using them for what the science was created for, because you do have multiple pairs. If you are uncertain about what that is, being able to search online using different, dare I say, AI tools, just putting it in there, having AI give you, the breakdown of what it is, what it's used for, is just a really quick, easy way. Google can also help you with that too. And then being able to make sure that the shoe that you're running in is what it's intended for. It's going to help to keep your body safe, moving the proper way. You're going to reduce your risk of injury. So definitely being able to check that out. You know, there are so many different brands. I don't even really try to push too many brands because, you know, similar to gels, there's every brand has their own spectrum of here's your long run shoe, here's your speed shoe, here's your everyday trainer, here's whatever, whatever, whatever. So being able to take the shoes that you have, look at what they're intended to be used for, and then just make sure that you're using them that way. And then check out the distance that you're putting on. So depending on how you're tracking your workouts, if you're tracking workouts, you know, making sure that you're noting what shoe you're wearing, just so as the kilometers build up, you're able to track that. And then also making sure on race day, you know, you could do the math and look ahead. And if you're getting to a point where you're starting to notice, you know, your body's starting to be more sore, the soles of your feet, you're starting to get plantar fasciitis or shin splints or something like that. And then it occurs to you that, you know, maybe you've had these shoes for a few years already before you're training, and you want to buy a new pair. Well, now we got to balance buying the new pair in relation to race day so that you have enough time to practice and that you're not going to be getting blisters or, you know, some sort of cuts or rubs the wrong way leading up to your race. So
Yeah,
my
see,
favorite,
she's
my
a
favorite
Sherpa for a
topic.
reason.
Yep. And you know what? And if they match your outfit,
Bonus.
even better.
It's
Even
a
better.
bonus. It's a bonus. Also,
It
side
is.
note, I love that you're both taking notes. This is my favorite thing ever. I really enjoy this. Okay, so I'm going to say my thing that I'm tweaking actually leads me into my next question, which is what things you're changing in your own sort of personal lifestyle habits that are helping affect it. So, as I already noted, I'm super tired. So, I'm trying to go to bed earlier. And I'm trying to do like the nutrition things, right? Like garbage in, garbage out. So I'm trying to be much more mindful about what I'm eating because that also affects my energy. So those are a couple of habits I'm working on. How about you, Heather?
Well, for me, and this time being my 16th marathon, and my last one, like I said, it was 8 years ago. And I was very different. You know, the studio was only brand new. We had only been around for 2 years. My life was very different 8 years ago. So now coming back to marathon training, being, I think, you know, the idea of being a little bit more kinder or thinking about these norms and these things that for some reason are like a standard, realizing that they don't have to be. So for example, the long run. For me, because I'm here teaching yoga or spin, I can't do the long run at 8 a.m. And so if I have to do it at 1 p.m., that's okay. But in my head, from so many years of training, you know, the long runs happen in the morning. And then I would be like, well, I can't fit it in till 1 p.m. And I would feel kind of bad about myself or have this thing that it wasn't right or I'm not doing it right because I'm doing it at 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. or 5 p.m. And being like, it's okay, these standards, why are they even there? I can just, as long as I do the long run, that's the most important part. Even now, post pandemic, there's so many more people running, so many more bodies, so many more ages. I'm right here at the corner of Spadina and Queens Quay, which in Toronto is right along the waterfront trail, the Martin Goodman Trail. And so as I look out the window, there's so many more people running now that, you know, your pace doesn't matter. Like you said, Gabby, if you got to walk, you got to walk. It doesn't matter how quick. Running is not just for fast people. It's not just for young people. Everybody's running. And so these things that used to be true, I'll put in quotes, aren't true anymore. And so, you know, they were probably never true, but you just kind of think, no, this is what I have to do because this is what I was told. And this was, you know, what the research says or what the training says. And now it's like, how can I just getting it done? That's the most important. So that's kind of like this challenge that I've been dealing with as I was training for Seawees. And then now as I come into my marathon cycle, it's like, okay, why is this, you know, why do I think this way? Or where is this coming from? And is it a truth? Or is it just, you know, some sort of thing that was out there that really doesn't matter? You know, because the most important part, and I would say this to the people who I coach, the most important part with the long run is just getting it done. Doesn't matter when, just get it done. But then in my head, I'm like, no, it has to be 8 a.m., 9 a.m. No, that's not the truth. You just have to get it done. So trying to break away, even though we just spent all this time talking about norms, breaking away from those norms and just realizing that what works for you, that's what's best. What's the best time to run? The time you can fit it in.
That's time o'clock. That's the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah. Ladies, any lifestyle habits that you guys are tweaking as we get into the hard mileage?
I can go. So I think apart from like changing my sleep time and right, like waking up time and all of that, nutrition, protein, because strength training as well. But yeah, like outside of that, I think because I like to travel as well, now thinking about how to get like a long run when I'm traveling has also been something that I've had to plan for and stuff. So I visited SF a few months back and I was like, okay, let me see if there's a run group. And I actually found one on Luma and I joined them for a morning run on a Saturday that I was visiting. So yeah, like just thinking about how you can integrate your runs with when you're traveling as well, is something that yeah, like it has been nice to do that. So that's one thing that I've had to change in my lifestyle as well.
See, yeah. You're already making the change. You're ahead of the scale. Good for you. Okay, Gabby, how about you?
For me, it's very heavily on nutrition, honestly. I think this period of trying to start running came in a part of my life that I'm rediscovering what is good for me and what is bad for me. And I can give an example very quickly. Cheese. I love cheese to death. I cannot eat cheese if I want to do a lot of exercise. It's not even a gastro problem. It's like the inflammation that it causes on my body. And it's personal. I don't know if that affects other people. I have a friend that he runs with a Parmesan block, and like he loves it and it works for him. But for me particularly, it doesn't. So it makes me feel bad. It makes me feel heavy. It makes me feel bloated. But even like soup is something that I love, but it causes the same thing on me, even being healthy. So I think those learns and those changes that I'm having to relearn again, that's the biggest thing in my life that I have to change.
That's great. Well, we have a few minutes left with Heather before she has to dash. So I am going to ask one last question, which is, what are you most looking forward to for race weekend? I'm most looking forward to seeing you people in real life at the stage on Saturday. I'm very excited for that. And then seeing you, tracking you, and finding you at the finish line. That is what I'm most looking forward to. Anjali, what are you most looking forward to for race weekend?
I think just finishing, right? Yeah, my first time, I don't know what's gonna happen. It's the uncertainty that's making me nervous, right? I don't know what will happen at the 30K mark or if I'll even, finish it. I'm sure I'll finish it. I'll walk it if I have to, but I will finish it. But yeah, yeah, and like the one thing I love the most is the atmosphere, and it is the vibes that are so invigorating, like really like running with so many people cheering you on and reading those signs as you're running is the best. So yeah, really looking forward to that.
Oh, all the vibes, right, Heather? That's what we live for, you and I. So good. Okay, Gabby, what about you? What are you looking forward to most for race weekend?
I think the beer that I'm gonna drink after the race, the vibes, and I am in the vibe of whimsy maxing because I don't know if that's on your algorithm, but it's definitely on mine. So I'm just excited to see everyone and myself with glitter in their face, feeling very girly in a whole pink outfit. It's so silly, but I'm so excited for that too. So,
yay! Will you wear something glittery or pink to the stage on Saturday?
oh yeah, definitely I
I
can.
mean,
My
we
nails
could
are
all
almost ready for it.
fantastic. We could all choose to do that. We'll have a chat about that later. Heather, what are you most looking forward to for race weekend?
Well, race weekend is always so much more than just the race now. I feel like Canada Running Series and ASICS do such a great job of making it the huge experience. So the race, of course, is fantastic. I cannot wait to cheer, but also the women's run shakeout run ahead of time. So meeting all the women the day before, and then doing the panel afterwards. And then on race day, everything that's connected to race day. So also doing overpass yoga that we'll be doing over the flyaway here at Spadina with ASICS, and then going down and cheering everybody on after. And then, you know, everything that happens, like, it's just all the vibes, all the whimsy, absolutely everything that this race has become for the running community, for women, for the city. I just love it so much. So yeah,
Oh.
everything, all the above.
You're so good at that. Okay, so ladies, Heather and I will see you in person on the stage on Saturday. In the meantime, I know I speak for both Heather and I that if you want to talk about anything, we're here. We're here to chat. We love talking running.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, stay with the comments in the Facebook group too, right? There's so many women here that are just in it to help each other out. So it's very exciting. So I can't wait. We'll see you guys just about at the start line. Thanks for your time, ladies. We'll talk soon.
Thank you so much. It was great talking to you too.
Yeah, you too. Okay. Take care.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.